Good morning, grade 8. Welcome back. I know you all missed me. You don't have to tell me, I know. I miss you guys too. We are going to continue on with 8.5, Applying Integer Operations, lesson number 2, aka part 2. And we are going to use the knowledge that we have from our previous lesson that I posted on Monday to apply to problem-solving type questions. So let's just jump right in. 1 week in March in Pigwees, Manitoba, the daily high temperatures were -2, -6, +1, +2, -5, -8, and +4. What was the mean daily temperature for that week? So before we even attempt to solve this, we need to refresh our memories on what mean means. Mean is the, pause for answers, yeah, you're right, average. Mean means average. And how do we find the average? We need to get the sum of the values divided by, actually we'll just write it like this, sum of the values divided by the total number of values. Okay, so now that we have this, we can use the information provided in the problem to solve. So step 1, we know that sum means the addition, the answer to an addition. So we know we have to add all of our temperatures together. So what I'm going to do is rewrite everything out. So I'm going to go -2 plus -6 plus +1 plus +2 plus -5 plus -8, and lastly plus +4. And we know we have to divide that by our total number of values. It says a week, but we'll double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Okay, step 2. Reminder, you can't use a calculator for this unit, so you have to do everything mental math. Looking at this, it might be a bit daunting, but we can organize our information to make sure we don't miss something and make a small error. So what I'm going to do is, because we're adding, order doesn't actually matter because it's all addition. So what I want to do is reorganize our information, and I'm going to group all of our negatives together, and I'm going to group all of our positives together. So we'll rewrite this problem out. So we have -2 plus -6. I'm just going to cross them out so I don't miss anything, plus -5 plus -8. So we have all of our negatives in order, or grouped. And now I'm going to put all of our positives together. So we got +1, minor hiccup here, oops, +1, +2, +4, and we're dividing it all by 7. Okay, so now that we have our information neatly organized, we can do this in 2 steps here. So we have our negatives, and we're going to add all of our negatives together first. So these are all on the same team, so we know the team is just going to get bigger. So we have a negative team. 2 plus 6 is 8. Plus 5 is 13. Plus 8, 21. I know that's not a thing anymore, sorry. Okay, so we have -21. And we are going to add our positives. Same team, so we know it's going to be a positive team. 1 plus 2, 3, plus 4, 7. Okay, now, next step. Divide the whole thing by 7. So we need to solve what's on the top before we can do the bottom. So 21 plus 7. Well, we know two different teams. Which team's bigger? The negative team. What's the difference between 21 and 7? 14. So we have negative 14. We're dividing that by 7. Negative divided by positive gives us a, that's right, negative 2. All right, moving on. On 4 days, this is a show you know. So what I want you to do is I want you to solve this problem on your own. So on 4 days in June in Resolute Nunavut, the daily low temperatures were -6, 0, +1, and -7. What was the mean daily low temperatures those 4 days? So what I want you to do is pause the video, give this one a shot, press play once you're done. If you need to rewind to check back at the previous example, you're more than welcome to. So pause now. Okay, so in 4 days, we have the temperatures, and we're going to organize it just like I did on the last one. Put all our negatives together. -6 plus -7, gone. Then we are going to add 0 plus +1. Okay, so some of you may be thinking, I don't need to add the 0 because 0 is not going to change the value, which you're absolutely correct. But the reason why I left it there and I wrote it out is because we are finding the mean, we need to divide the sum of our temperatures by the total amount of temperatures. And if we leave out the 0, we might forget about it, and instead of it being 4, you think, oh, it's 3, and then you'll get the incorrect answer. So I left the 0 there just so we know that we are dividing by 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we can solve. Negatives together, same team. The negative team's getting bigger. 6 plus 7 is -13. And then we have 0 plus 1. Hopefully don't get that wrong. +1. And we're dividing it all by 4. Second last step, sorry. -13 plus 1. Two different teams. Which team's bigger? The negative team. What's the difference between 13 and 1? 12. Divided by 4. So -12 divided by 4. Negative divided by a positive gives us a, that's right, negative. All right. This is the last problem I'm going to show you, and then you'll have one more show you know, and that is it for this lesson. So Ahmed had $100 in his savings account at the start of his summer job. For the next 8 weeks, he added $70 to his savings each week. After he went back to school, he withdrew $55 per week from his savings. For how many weeks did he make withdrawals until his savings were gone? Absolute mouthful there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take a highlighter out and we're going to highlight key information before we start. So Ahmed had $100 in his savings account at the start of his summer job. For the next 8 weeks, he added $70. After he went back to school, he withdrew $55 per week from his savings. For how many weeks did he make withdrawals until his savings were gone? So this is kind of an important sentence too, but I'm not going to highlight the whole thing. Okay, so we need to use this information to create an expression that we can simplify in the end to find out how many weeks he made withdrawals until he had $0. So here, he started with $100, right? And for the next 8 weeks, he added $70. So 8 weeks times 70. And we're going to put this in brackets so that we can show 8 weeks times $70 gives us how much, and we're going to add that to our initial amount that he had. Then it says after he went back to school, he withdrew $55 per week for his savings. So we don't know how many weeks he withdrew, but so that's what we're solving for ultimately. So if we divide all of this by 55, we'll know how many weeks it was. So we're going to divide everything on the top by 55. Dollars. I'm going to write this out another way. You could also write it, or we have 100 plus 8 times 70. And then we can use square brackets like this, divided by 55. So either way works. You might see this, or you might see this version. But I just wanted you to know what that was, and that it means the same thing. Okay, so before we get started, BEDMAS. Always, always, always write it at the top of your page, even if you know it, just so that you keep things organized. Division, multiplication, left to right. Addition, subtraction, left to right. Trust me, it's nice to have that visual to refer back to. I have been doing this for a long time, and I know what BEDMAS is, but it's just nice to have that visual reference. Okay, so let's solve this. Step 1, brackets. So we have 8 times 70. 8 times 70, big number. Simplify this. 8 times 7 is 56. Add your 0. And we're going to drop down the rest of our information. Solve what's on the top first. 100 plus 560. 660 divided by 55. 660 divided by 55 is, I believe it is 12. You can do long division to solve that. I'm not going to do that on this video. Okay, if we're doing it this way, same concept. We have brackets, 2 sets of brackets. We have brackets inside of the brackets, so this is the first one we're going to do. So 560 plus 100, still have our brackets, divided by 55. 660 divided by 55, which equals to 12. So either way, if you're using BEDMAS, and as long as you put your brackets in the correct locations, you'll find the same answer. So how do we finish this off? For how many weeks did he make withdrawals until his savings were gone? Ahmed made withdrawals for 12 weeks until his savings were gone. All right. Show you know. The average temperature of Earth's surface is about 15 degrees Celsius. The temperature of Earth's crust increases about 25 degrees Celsius for each kilometer below the surface. What is the average temperature 3 kilometers below Earth's surface? So this is a show you know. I want you to give this one a shot on your own. And once you're done, press play. So pause now and give it a go. Okay, so the average temperature of the Earth's surface is 15 degrees Celsius. The temperature of Earth's crust increases by about 25 Celsius for each kilometer below the surface. So let's highlight some key info here. 15 degrees Celsius is the average. Temperature increases by 25 degrees Celsius for each kilometer below the surface. What is the average temperature 3 kilometers below? Okay, step 1. What do we start with? We're starting at 15 degrees Celsius. And the temperature increases. Increase means add by about 25 degrees Celsius for each kilometer below the surface. What is the average temperature 3 kilometers below? So we are going to do 25 times 3 kilometers, and then we can solve. Step 1, bed mass. Write it down. Division, multiplication, left to right, addition, subtraction, left to right. Do we have brackets? Yes, we do. 25 times 3. 75 plus 15. 15 plus 75, 80, 90. So what is the average temperature 3 kilometers below the Earth's surface? Sentence. The average temp 3 kilometers below the Earth's surface is 90 degrees Celsius. Boom, we are done. 8.5. Here are the key ideas. When solving a problem, you need to decide which operations to perform on integers. Some integer problems involve the order of operations. The order of operations for integers is the same as for whole numbers and decimals. Bracket, multiply and divide in order from left to right. Add and subtract in order from left to right. So that's it for today's lesson. Check Google Classroom for the assignment that corresponds to this.